I prefer small ones. Not like micro ones, but small ones.
I'm no size queen. I like them small.
The big ones always make me feel like I have to pee.
I made fun of my buddy for having a small one, but then he let me hold it, and now I low-key want a small one too.
Alright guys, it's your boy Hink. We're back bringing you yet another one to react to. Got sent this commercial by one of my friends, so I appreciate you guys that forward these things along for me, but as soon as I saw it, I knew we had to make a video about it because it is genius marketing, okay, for this product, but there's also a lot that we can discuss with this and a lot of learning points, so let's get right into it. But guys, before we go any further, if you don't mind just taking a second to like the video, if you can, hype the video. And if you're not a subscriber, I'm trying to get to 70K subscribers by the end of February, and I would appreciate your help in getting me there.
I prefer small ones. Not like micro ones, but small ones.
First of all, there's clearly attractive chick. I mean, they're clickbait, and they know what they're doing there. But the point is that she prefers small, not micro. Now, guys, I've said this before. You're going to be very hard pressed to find any kind of girl that actually says, like, yes, I prefer a micro penis. Now, what is a micro penis? A micro penis is a penis that is below 2.5 standard deviations, basically below the normal range. Typically, what that means in an adult male is that it's around 3 inches. Okay, usually 3 inches or less, give or take.
I'm no size queen. I like them small.
Here's some of you guys, oh my gosh, there's a black chick, oh, she's gotta like BBC. There's still that myth perpetuated. Once again, guys, I realize this is a commercial for something marginally related. I understand that, but still, the point is that they are playing on these stereotypes and these assumptions and these kind of controversial topics. And this is one here where I think that, guys, you would be surprised how many black dudes are not packing. I mean, it is. Now, there are certainly plenty that you see online, but that's not a representation of actual reality.
The big ones always make me feel like I have to pee.
Guys, there's an actual anatomic reason for this. A lot of times, and so I don't know if you guys even knew this, but when women like squirt, most of that is just urine. It's just urine, okay, that gets shot out. There's very little, what you would say, ejaculate, okay? There's actually some very interesting papers on that, so if you don't believe me, research it yourself. But guys, if you look at the position of the bladder, it's basically just anterior to the vaginal canal. And so certainly the bigger a guy is, the more pressure is going to be on the bladder. And so if the woman has not urinated prior to intercourse, then there can be a significant sensation of needing to pee. And that's also how a lot of adult film stars fake the squirt, if you know what I mean. They basically just rev themselves up and they just go, ah, and then just pee.
I made fun of my buddy for having a small one, but then he let me hold it, and now I low-key want a small one too.
I think this is one of the funniest parts of this commercial. The thing that I don't like is, and I'm sure many of you guys have experienced it yourself, is that whether it be from men or from women, it's like manhood size is an attacking point. I still have I'll say friend from high school, but every time I see him, he makes a bunch of like small D jokes about me. And it's just like, bro, like, what are we doing here? And it's just, I don't know. I hate that is like the lowest hanging fruit to attack men, but it is what it is.
My husband's really into big ones. It kind of weirds me out. So I'd just sit in a chair and watch him and his buddies just go to town. Meanwhile, I'm just over here, enjoying a small one.
This is hilarious, especially if you don't know context. This is absolutely hysterical to me. Now look, guys, I hate the term yuck somebody's yum. I don't know, that just grosses me out the way that phrase goes. But I can never understand cuck life. I could just never understand it. But hey, if that's what makes you happy, you're not hurting anybody, then do what makes you happy, bro. I'm not gonna judge you. It just could never be me. But I feel like she was taking shots at Adam 22 on that. If you don't know who Adam 22 is, then you're a good person and you probably are delegating your time to more important matters.
Now we have small ones. But don't worry, we still have big ones.
This is a commercial for Liquid Death, which in itself, Liquid Death is genius marketing because it's just basically a water company. But if you see the bottles, it looks like it's some extreme alcohol. Some of you guys, I don't know how many of you knew that they make small bottles, and most people are used to seeing the big bottles. So here's a hack here. You want to take a picture, buy one of the smaller bottles and use that for comparison. And I don't know, maybe turn it slightly so they can't see the actual flow ounces on there, and hold that up side by side. If you really want to try to be a little bit deceptive in your angles. So guys, there's some additional important points that I really want to talk about that are actually more serious when it comes to this video. The first of which is that, guys, if you haven't seen my videos featuring like dread, okay, especially when we're talking about these dudes that are massive, the women literally talk about how they hate filming with him. He's the nicest guy, but they hate them that size because it hurts. When we have these commercials saying like, I prefer small ones, there's a legitimate proportion of women that genuinely prefer small. And I'm not talking about average. I'm talking about smaller than average, or at least on the lower end of average. Now here's some data. If you haven't seen my videos on the Bad Girls Bible, there's part 1, part 2, and part 3. It was, in general, a pretty dog shit study when you actually look at the numbers. But when you have more generic questions like what % of women find sex with the larger penis satisfying, that's the type of thing you can actually draw some data from. And guys, like, look at this. There was almost 40% of the women that found it not satisfying, okay? And I'm not gonna sit here and oh, size doesn't matter, guys. Girls only want average or below average. Like, that's not what I'm saying here. But what I am saying is that there is a significant proportion of women that do not prefer big. And if you look at these results as to why they don't like them big, it's because it's oftentimes painful. Or a common reason also is the dude lacks skill. He thinks he has a big hog. It can just go in there and just, thump away. And that's what it's gonna take to get over the top. And it's not. And guys, look at this stat here. 56% of women, almost 57%, said that they would consider breaking up with their partner if their D was too big. I mean, I've said this before, but there's absolutely such thing as being too big. Hink, I want to grow and I want to be 10 inches in length by about 8 inches in girth. That's what I need to satisfy women.
Don't do the voice.
Like, I hope you guys don't actually believe that. Some of you guys still do, and that's okay. But I really do hope that with each day that passes, or each video that passes, less and less people fall into that trap. And guys, look at this stat. 30% of women would consider cheating on their partner because he has a larger size, because it's too painful. They can't do it. I mean, guys, you have seen my 2 videos that I made on Matt Khalil, I think is his name, where he literally got divorced because his D was too big. There is so much to actually being an average size. And one of my guys was like, Hink, don't say average. Nobody wants to be average. I'll say there's so much to just being a normal size within that normal size distribution, which is usually somewhere between about 4.7, 4.8, all the way up to about 5.5 is basically, that's where like what? Almost 80% of the values are going to fall. There's also a condition called vaginismus, where literally the vaginal canal will spasm, okay, and kind of clamp down. It can make sex or intercourse extremely painful and in some cases impossible. And along with that, there is also a sensation called dyspareunia. Basically means sex is painful. In these conditions, guys, they literally have to go through things like physical therapy and sometimes even use things like these dilators here in order just to get to the point where intercourse can be tolerable. And that's not an insignificant amount of women, guys, especially in women like this. They are legitimately going to prefer smaller, probably as small as they can get. Maybe even some of the micro guys, this might be the best category for them. And the other thing I've talked about before is there's such thing called the boyfriend D, the ideal boyfriend D, which basically is like the Goldilocks D, meaning it's not too big, it's not too small, but there are a lot of women, I would say most women would prefer this size. And they don't want a big size. They don't want something that's going to hurt. They don't want something they're going to be sore the next day. Not all, Hink, I know a girl and she loves the feeling of being. I get that, guys. I'm talking generalities here. In this article here, looking at the boyfriend D, look at this excerpt here. He says, small Ds aren't a problem for me. Elsa, 29, told me, I'm more worried on the larger side of things. And I've said that to a couple of guys and they're always like, well, shouldn't you be turned on by that? Once again, guys, these real life indications that they prefer some of these smaller guys. And finally, guys, we need to talk about the actual vaginal anatomy. The average length of the vaginal canal is around 2.5 inches, guys. And somebody, oh, Hink, that's impossible. In my days of cosplaying as Batman, I've done quite a bit of actual pelvic exams, vaginal canal exams, cervical exams, and the distance is not that far. Now, that distance does change when women get aroused, and it causes the cervix to basically retract and the uterus to go up and makes more room. There's a lot to that. But guys, even when that happens, especially according to this article here, the average length of the aroused vaginal canal is about 5 to 5.5 inches. What does that sound like? 5 to 5.5 inches. Where does that sound familiar? Oh, snap. That's right. That's the size. That's the average D size. Now, important distinction. If we're talking about filling up the average aroused canal, we're talking about basically non-bone pressed 5 to 5.5. And so that is different than the average size, which is bone pressed, meaning you take a ruler and you push it all the way in into your fat pad. And what is that measurement? And so once again, guys, I'm not fat shaming. Love yourself, love your body. But if you're packing 5 inches, but you have a 3-inch fat pad, like, yeah, you're gonna look small. I mean, and once again, I'm not shaming, but even the dude with like the world's smallest D, he's very obese. And as a result, he said his D is only like 0.38 inches. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. But in reality, I bet his D is probably like 3.38 inches, but he just has a 3-inch fat pad because the dude is quite overweight. So guys, let me know what you think about this. Am I full of crap? Oh, Hink, you're just cope. And, you know, all the comments help the algorithm, guys, but I do want to know what you think about this. I want to know what you think about the commercial. It's just funny, the juxtaposition of this commercial where it's like, I prefer small ones, versus that Bud Light commercial. If you haven't seen that, please check that out, where it's like, the big ones just feel better. And so I really like this video. I thought it was genius advertising by the Liquid Death team. Let me know what you think, okay? If you watch this video and you still feel like you have to get bigger and that's the only solution for you, guys, I do have an enlargement course. It's based on real science. On average, my clients are gaining about a 1/2 inch in length and a 1/4 inch in girth in 6 months, with evidence that you can see before and after photos in the Hink trial, okay? Link is going to be in the description. If it's not there right this second when you check, just check back, because there's going to be a new link updated. But I break down the science, the anatomy, how to do it, pressures, timing, all of that stuff, guys. And I actually have my receipts where I was able to help 7 guys achieve this goal as well. So that's going to do it, guys. Just please remember, there's nothing wrong with self-improvement, but you are enough just as you are. All right, guys. Peace and love.
Dr. Hink got the plug on the health, yeah. Got you thinking about your wealth, yeah. In his office, no stealth, yeah. Pinnacle of that below the belt, yeah. Checks and balance, he's managing. Working miracles, no damage. Got you covered, no panicking. Steady calm. In the clinic, no vanishing. Yeah, with Doc Hink, it's the way back.